Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. It is week 3, and it is 10 a.m. Eastern time anyway. And we're excited to have you guys back in this space. We've kind of crested, if you will, in this portfolio month, in the portfolio experience, which means that we've just passed the official halfway mark on our timeline. So today's an exciting day. We're going to check in and see what's up, where you guys are, and hear a lot from you. But before we do, I want to say good morning to our other faculty mentors. What's up, you guys? How you doing?
Hey, hey.
Good morning.
Good
Got a
morning,
fresh cut
everyone.
going there.
Oh, it's like
Oh, yeah.
really legit. Yeah,
Nice.
the other day, and I don't know, one of those sessions we were on campus, maybe it was vision boards. Malia's like, your hair is like crazy long. I'm like, not for long.
There you go.
I knew I was getting
Yeah, haven't seen it that tight in a while. It's cool.
Well, yeah, I just feel like we're getting ready this is like in anticipation of getting back out into the world.
The last Corona cut, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was like, when you starting to like not recognize yourself as you pass by a mirror, you're like, okay, maybe it's time to tighten it up a little bit.
There's people that I follow on Twitter, and when I see them like all the time on Twitter, and then I see them on the news, I'm like, wait a minute, like the beards and the hair and everything, and it's just like nuts. So yeah.
Yeah. So Joya, what's going on with you?
Sorry about that. I was having like audio issues. I am good. I'm happy to be here. I'm proud of myself. I got up early today. Nice. And I've been productive. So
productive, and it's
doing
only
good.
Look at you already with the win
Right?
for the day.
Exactly. And yes, your haircut is nice. I was thinking the same thing when we were chatting last week. I was like, Emily's hair is getting like so long. Yeah. And then you cut it. And I'm so jealous because my husband has to talk me out of doing an undercut like every other week.
Yeah. So. I just I'm looking for things that make me feel more like myself, and just this was one of those things. So thank you very much for the compliment and for noticing.
Yeah.
What's up with you guys out there in the world? We are short one Roxanne here today, which means the one who kind of keeps us all marching in a straight line. So we might have to do a little bit of a zigzag around here, but it's been a minute. So I want to check in with each of you guys kind of quickly and individually, just about where you are with your goal for the month. We have an activity coming up in FSO, which is going to be due tomorrow, which one is the one that's due tomorrow, Renee? Do you have that pulled up? Because I want to talk about
let me see about
that one specifically. I think I know, but I don't want to misspeak and then like
hold on.
And then we
progress report.
Okay,
yeah,
that's right. That's what I thought it was, because intuitively I was like, it's time for progress report, but I didn't. This is being recorded, so it's going out to all the classes everywhere for project and portfolio, and I didn't want there to be any confusion about that.
And you guys have to understand we're going on 2+ years of the old assignment schedule, so this is brand new to us. Where we're like, okay, what's next? So
what's happening? What's happening this month?
There's zero autopilot right now. So
which is, it's keeping us on our toes for sure, and also making things super exciting. So if you guys would indulge me, I'd like to kind of just follow the grid as I see it. I understand that that you guys might not see it the same way I do, and therefore might not be able to prepare for when I call on you. But what I want to ask is just, where are you with your goal? And looking ahead to that progress report, is there anything that you have a question about, specifically as it relates to your project and what you're working on? I do see that Andrew down in the chat area asked to go first, so let's do that. So Andrew, what's up?
Hello. How well can you guys hear me? First off, is it like
We
chopping out
got
and
you.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You're
sounds good.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're hearing you okay.
Is it okay? Oh my goodness. You completely cut out, but okay.
Oh,
I'll just go
wow.
for it.
Yeah. No,
So far,
we hear you okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So I have been doing great on my progress so far. For anyone that doesn't really know, I'm working on like a YouTube styled video with like multiple tracks and multiple video feeds and stuff. I'm just like swapping between them, making it kind of like flow with conversation and stuff, cutting out any like long bits of just kind of excess silence or anything that doesn't need to be said or whatever. So far I'm doing like absolutely fantastic on that. I've actually been loving it, and I I hope I can do this with my friends more often, because I actually grabbed a few of my older friends who I knew that they could record, and I was just like, "Hey guys, why don't we try it? Like, I know we always watch these like YouTubers and stuff, but why don't we try it? What's stopping us from trying this? Because I have access to this stuff. I know you guys can at least record your stuff and send it to me, and we can always just keep it flowing and cycling, and we'll see what we can do." So so far, I'm loving it.
That's awesome, Andrew. Just share for the group, you shared a little bit about your project, right? But also share kind of what your career aspiration is. Why is this project relevant to what you want to do?
Gotcha. So I guess my end goal or dream job, I'm sure not a lot of you are familiar with one of the Rooster Teeth's branch off companies, but they have a smaller company that's literally called Let's Play, and they run pretty much strictly off. Oh, sorry, they run strictly like on YouTube, as well as their own. They have their own personal website, but they have millions of subscribers already, and they're such a great company that just lets the community engage so much with their content. And I would love to be able to help them either creating their content or just editing through their content and stuff. So that's like the end goal dream job kind of thing of being like a professional editor.
Nice. So that's one of the things that
Hey, that's pretty cool, Ray.
that's one of the things that we're really hoping to coach you guys in recognizing, is how the work that you are doing in this program and in the project and portfolio experience can set you up for what it is that you want to do in the future, so long as you're approaching it like intentionally, the way that you are, Andrew. So because he knows he wants to go work for Let's Play and they do this kind of video, create this kind of content, Andrew is creating some assets, a video in this case, that is similar in scope and similar in flavor to what they produce there, so that if he were to get it in front of the right audience, they would see that, yes, Andrew understands our voice, our brand, our style, and they could very easily see how he would fit onto their team. So that's kind of the driving goal around you guys articulating this career aspiration, and then creating work that supports it. So I see another little spot in the chat here where Ari was saying that she could go next. She is at work. If the phone rings, feel free to answer it and we'll move on, but you've got the floor for now.
Cool. Hi, guys. I'm so sorry I'm here, but my office knows that I'm in class. I just wanted to give a little update. I've been working on, first of all, my goal is to be a photographer for a magazine, specifically a fashion magazine, but I'm open to any magazine ultimately. I already have my mood boards done and made, so I'm very excited about that. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Is it? Okay, perfect. So I have my mood boards done already, and I put them in the progress report, and I turned it in already. I was so excited. So I get to start my photo shoots next week, or this upcoming week, like this finishing of the week. I do have a few people, but they're only open on the weekends. So hopefully I'll get someone on Thursday or Wednesday. So I have that. I've been working with Sarah's group as well. So that progress has been really great. So if Sarah does share today, definitely something to look forward to.
Mm.
And I worked with Kat on my journal. My progress with that is I started the cover and I'm kind of stuck on where to go from there, but progress is getting there. It's getting there.
That's awesome. If you want to sidebar with me on that cover about anything and show me what you've got and kind of what you're thinking,
Oh,
I'd be
sure.
happy to chit chat about
Thank you.
you or about that. One question
Yes.
that I had for you, since you've already done the progress report as
Oh, sure.
detailed in FSO, did you have any questions, that about that, or that you were unclear about, that maybe we can just provide additional information for in this space in case folks might run into the same thing?
I think there wasn't really any questions. I think it was more just like a personal kind of like stuckness, I guess, for lack of a better term, because the problems and solutions, I was on that part for a little bit because I didn't really feel like I had any problems and solutions quite yet, because I didn't really get to dig super deep into what I was doing. It was more of like the preparation. So that part I kind of was stuck on. But
Okay.
other than that, it was pretty great. I just I did it in a different format. I know that I think you saw it, Emily, already. But I did do it on a different like layout just because it was better for me to understand rather than like question and answer kind of thing. I did it in like different boxes.
Perfect.
So.
And that's something I want to just make sure that everybody understands too. For your action plan and for this progress report, we give you a little bit of a worksheet, right? So that you can get your thoughts onto paper, so to speak. But if you prefer to present that information back to us in a way that is a little bit more creative or feels just like it serves you in a better capacity, so long as you're meeting the requirements of the activity, we welcome you to step away from a worksheet and create something that feels more in alignment with what it is that you want to do, for sure. Thank you for that feedback, Ari, about you didn't have that many problems or solutions at the point that you were addressing this, which is totally fine. It's okay to say there are no problems at this time. But if there are things that are challenging you, we want you to be just have an awareness of that, right? Have an awareness of maybe some things that feel like they're slowing you down or sabotaging you. And in those moments, how are you being creative and responding to those challenges in a way that continues to push your goal forward or your effort forward? Let's see here. I'm now officially going to the grid since we had Andrew, thank you, and Ari, and that means you, Catherine, up there in my top left corner. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm okay. So my what is it called, action plan. I'm a host, and I had to get out of the mindset of pre-COVID and COVID and after COVID. So I've been trying to upgrade my virtual studio, and I've done 1.5 of the benchmarks and goals that I've had so far. I'm having difficulty with OBS and audio is my biggest kryptonite. So that's pretty much where I'm stuck at right now. So a lot of YouTube, a lot of Google, but I did get the overlays, which you saw.
I saw, yeah.
I was super proud of myself. It's a little out of my comfort zone, not too much, but I won't get one of my deadlines met because I ordered lights and they won't get here till February, but they are ordered, so like kind of got it, kind of type of thing. And I'll be working on my lighting, so that's where I'm at right now.
That's awesome. Well, I enjoy kind of checking up on you via Instagram and seeing what you're up to. That's if we're not connected in Instagram, you guys find me because like I love to cheer you on and support like all of the cool creative stuff that you guys are doing. And it's just sort of like an informal space for us just to be able to continue to get to know each other and support each other. And I just absolutely love seeing your work out there. Catherine, you mentioned like, oh, I'm not going to make this one deadline. We understand that the deadlines for these goals, they necessarily need to coincide with the 4 weeks that we have in our class. But you getting that lighting, it's on its way, is definitely a win. You can go ahead and, you know, chalk that up to like, I have made the progress, it is on its way. You know, as soon as it gets here, you know, that's a done deal. And so like, 4 weeks is a short period of time to move the mountains that you guys are moving. So I just want you to go ahead and just mark that as like you've absolutely made that progress too. So regarding the audio stuff, I don't know if Renee wants to jump in, but I know you're a good friend. Aaron, Gandia might like to hear from you again, because I know you guys were tight.
Yeah, just check in with us anytime, you know, if you're dealing with audio for streaming. I mean, there's so many little layers of things that you want to master. You know, first of all, check in how you're monitoring for your mixing, mic placement, the mic type, the room. Like, are you picking up a lot of room? So a lot of it, even with lighting, you know, there's some real fundamental stuff that's like the distance that you're able to record, right? If you're recording a little farther, you are just going to pick up more of your room. So it's going to affect a little bit more of what's happening, right? So same with lighting, like the closer you're able to scoot your lights in, the more kind of natural contrast you're going to have, that's going to darken the background and put you more in the foreground, so to speak, just because of like what that's called the inverse square law. But it's just little things that are like fundamentals of placement and just using the tools, that before you even get into like what kind of gear it is, it's just like, can we figure out like, are you optimizing the space that you have and the positioning of the tools that you have, and start from there and kind of roll on, you know. So
Well, I remember a lot of that, and I was doing all that, but the problem, I have a big problem. I'm a button masher, and I press a lot of buttons.
oh, okay. Yeah.
And yesterday, when I was recording, I realized that no one can hear me or the people I was with, and I don't know what button I pressed, and I don't know.
That's a whole nother scenario. Yeah.
And like I was trying to go back to my audio notes and stuff like that. So I did set my mic the right way, and I did pad down the rooms and close the doors and put them where I needed to go. But there's like settings in OBS when it comes to audio that I'm completely confused, because I'm running everything through OBS.
Right. Okay.
Is the problem. And now I don't know how to fix it or where to even start. So that's my next goal.
Well, yeah, if you need, you know, either check, you know, YouTube, but if you need to set up a one-on-one, just shoot one of us an email, and we can try to set up a one-on-one Zoom and just walk through it with you. Because a lot of times you just want to see what's going on in your screen and what settings are there. So it just takes a little time, but then the button mashing, I don't know what you can do about that. But a lot of it is like, when it comes down to your rig at home, is you want to get it as close to set it and forget it as you possibly can. So like, take this time, if it's this month, you know, like really figure out like, here's my key things. Even if you have to make yourself a little cheat sheet for a few months of just having a checklist that is like, let me check these 4 little flight checks, right? Sam probably lives in a whole world of flight checks in the airline industry. Like, it's like literally dummy proof. Like, you just go, okay, did I do this? Is this on? Is this switch on? Is this on? And do it in the right order, and just do it until it becomes second nature. But for the most part, you want to have your rig set up. If it's something that you're trying to build a habit, like I'm sitting here surrounded. I've got keys on my fingers are on my piano keyboard, and my bass is right there, and I can plug in my stuff like right here. I'm touching the input from my stuff, right? So like, I've set it up so that there's no excuse for not doing some music. If I'm saying I want to do music, it's like, you know, so just keep at it, invest that time, and try to like get out of like, okay, if it's like a mental obstacle of like, I know I'm just gonna turn stuff on and start bashing buttons, then like, how do you like, you know, cordon that stuff off for yourself, that you're like, okay, this is the don't touch stuff. Like, literally put a piece of tape over it, whatever it takes, right? So just like, because that's what they do in a lot of studios when you have a facility and a couple people come in and out of it, they'll just tape stuff off and just go like, do not touch, right? Like you hit the switch.
I have a stream deck. I have a stream deck and I have sticky notes, and like I do the sticky notes first and then I put it in a notebook. But because things have kind of been getting a little hectic, and like I always make sure to write it in the notebook because I have other things going on.
Yep.
I ended up like button mashing, and I'm like, oh man. So yeah, but I do have the stream deck to narrow everything down, and then my notebook to make sure I'm writing stuff down and not forgetting, because there's a lot of numbers, and then color, the color swatches I have to write down to make sure it's colored with my brand and stuff like that. So, you know, yeah. So
sounds like you're in it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. So just keep at it. You'll get it figured out.
And if I can piggyback on what Renee said, something specific that he said, and it was, reaching out to fellow instructors. Emily also mentioned Aaron as well. Not to take away from our amazing faculty that's here that knows so much. So I graduated last year in March. And when I was going through the program, I was working, I'm a mom, I had a lot on my plate, and there were some things that were difficult for me. And it's been so awesome being a part of the faculty, because now I can like reach out to Renee or a Swanee or an Emily, and say, in which I have been doing slowly, but reaching out to all these instructors and just like talking to them and getting to know them. And so I really want to push like all of you guys to do that. I know we're in these classes for 4 weeks, but this is your program. This whole faculty, everyone is here to support. And something that has been really awesome for me, like being on the team, I'll reach out to a coworker to talk about something else. And Aaron was one of those people. I was helping him in one of his classes, like doing moderating the chat online. And he was just so helpful to me. Like he was answering so many questions, and he even like offered like, hey, if you want to sit down, and this is what I show my students, because he wasn't teaching when I was in the program. But he resent the information that he sends his students. He invited me to his lectures every Thursday morning on Zoom. You guys can go to any lectures from any of your instructors if you have time in your schedule. They would love it, and ask them questions. Like take that time to really have those one-on-ones. Hit up Renee and say, hey, can I sit down and like walk through this with you? Can you show me like in depth what your process is? Because it'll really help you develop your own routine. And it's gonna also make you think about things that you didn't even consider. So just lean on them. They're awesome people. I'm loving getting to know them, and I kick myself every day that it took me this long to do it. So all of you guys online, I don't care where you are, like reach out to these teachers, like become friends. These are your mentors. This is your like family.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Swanee. Swanee totally had my back on. I just dropped like a random bit of tech, and Swanee put an article up there. So yeah, that's like one of these things that we teach in lighting. That's a basic that is super applicable. But when you put it on a board, well, the inverse square of what, like, and it's such a simple thing. But that's a really good article that she linked to. But a lot of those little fundamentals are just help everything make sense. So take a look at that link she put.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Ray, you're next on my list.
Awesome. Hello.
Hello.
So far, we have gotten together for my project. We had a meeting not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, just to like touch base and just kind of get to know each other, which was good. And then we were gonna have a meeting this past weekend, but then it's like I didn't want to take up everybody's time just to like say a couple things, so I just sent out a text just saying like what I wanted. So everyone's so to back up, my my project is I'm going to be doing a video for YouTube, or for my YouTube channel, and it's going to be involving just like other people's stories in video games and how that has affected them, whether that is like a recent story or their first time playing a video game, or a time they have, a time that has happened to them. So we have a Google Drive doc going with all of our individual stories going right now. And I was hoping that we could all have them written and recorded by this Sunday. And so I can spend the next 2 weeks just editing and producing it and getting everything ready to go so I can upload it. And that's where I'm at so far. I'm also helping with Malia's project, and I believe I'm helping after this Zoom session and as well as tomorrow. So yeah, a lot is going on, and it's a lot is good. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Good. It sounds like it. A lot of progress is being had there.
Yeah.
Also appreciate your thoughtfulness in, when you convene people on work. Certainly there's a time for the gathering, and certainly there's time for a communication that kind of clearly states things, in an email or in a text or that sort of thing. And so a really strong leader is one who can discern, is this just information dissemination, or is it something that we need to be in the collaborative space together? So,
Right.
I definitely encourage you guys to be thoughtful about those things, so that you're always making the most of the time that you're able to have together.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Thanks, Ray.
Yeah.
Flavia, do you want to share with us today? I did see your note about maybe doing a screen share, so we'd love to have that if you're ready.
Hi guys, so this month I started to develop my work skills. So I had this over here. This was like a catalog that a company starts to show, and I was like, I think it needs to be a little bit more professional. So I started to edited that. I create this one. I took pictures for them about these gowns that they're selling. I edited, and I'm starting to create this catalog for them, put all the medical hospitals that they're partners to. Also here is the process. So I took the pictures and then I edit. It was kind of hard, but I love it to do it. And as I said, I started to edit also my website. So here I'm putting all the information, everything that I'm doing. And this is the other products that I took pictures. And also my LinkedIn. I just need now a professional picture for my profile, but I'm definitely working on it. And I'm loving. So that's it. I would like to share to you, and thank you.
My smile is just like, it's just like stretching off the screen, Flavia. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, like, this is what we're talking about when we ask you guys to share your process, right? Like, it's the before, it's the after, it's the why you're doing these things. It's even just showing that little booty on the green screen, so that, like, seeing those things before and after, it's like, wow, this is really a difference.
Yeah, that was my favorite part, Flavia, because working with white objects on green screen, you get all that bounce. You've like, we did a film one time with a ton of green screen, and the floors were green, and it showed up in people's teeth. Like, just, it was really hard to get that stuff out. And so obviously when it's only white and there's no other color, it's a little easier, but you did a really good job of cleaning those bounces up. All your stuff looks really, really nice and neutral. So, nice work. Those are real clean.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great job, Flavia.
Yeah, I also want to comment the attention to detail. It's those little things like that step you above, student amateur and moves you into the professional range where people are going to throw money at you because you're the one that can take their stuff from looking so-so to looking awesome. So really awesome job.
Yep.
Yeah. And another little quick design thing, just I love that your design has space. Like, there's nothing cluttered. It's very, very legible, very clean. You didn't cram everything in there. So it's just really, really nice. That's a subtle thing that makes things look professional, that a lot of times, we see student work where it just like too much, and there's no room for hierarchy and for the eye to just kind of find the information. So you did a lot of good stuff going on there. That's going to get you well paid. So,
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
good stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's see who's next. How about Maria? Can we hear from you?
Hello guys, good morning. So I plan to be an art director and social media manager, and use my photographer skills to do that. And my action plan this month is to help my friend with her Instagram. She has a bikini store, I think I already said. And I downloaded an app called Trello. I don't know if you guys know.
Mhm.
And this app helps to organize and prioritize project, and the clients can give comments and help to organize everything. And I think this app is helping me a lot to connect to my client and organize everything. And yeah, I think that's it. And I came back to Orlando yesterday, so I think now I'm focusing more. We'll be focusing more in everything.
Mhm.
And I already talked to Sarah to meet her, and we are going to meet on Sunday, I think. And yeah, that's it.
That sounds great. So happy that you're back safely, Maria. I know
Yeah,
that was quite a journey.
I'm
to
very
get here.
happy.
I bet you are. Is there any support that you need kind of heading into, you know, the next couple of weeks in terms of these projects or goals?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but I'll let you know.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Thank you.
Sarah, what's going on with you?
Hi. So, kind of like Maria said, I've been doing photo shoots in Ari, and everything's been going so smooth. Like, I was surprised how easy it was to just coordinate and communicate to everyone the ideas. So supporting. And we are, I think we just finalized like the next photo shoot. It was going to be collaborative. So the first one was red and green, and we did that in the Zen garden on campus, which it was kind of funny because halfway through a security guard came up and was like, "Where's the instructor?" And we were like, we checked in, we got our temperatures checked, we're wearing masks, like it's okay. But so it was all right. But it was kind of funny how on campus we were welcome, but it was still like, you can't do this. We worked through it, and yeah, we're looking forward to next week. We finished editing as well. So finally have some portfolio content to add.
That's awesome. Renee, Swanee, I know you guys can probably speak a little more to the security guard concerns.
I'm just smiling because I can almost
I
picture
know.
exactly which one it was. But you know, there's just you know, there's a little bit of permitting and just kind of, you know, who's supposed to be where. I honestly have not shot or done anything on campus during this time, so but I'm sure like everything's super obvious. Whereas before you could get away with like stealing a shot here or there and not, you know, you're kind of blending the crowd, so to speak. And right now everything's got to be pretty isolated. You know, I think you handle it very well. You know, a lot of times it just, you can diffuse a situation if it's something really simple. Typically the takeaway from this kind of thing is when it comes to permitting, it's not, you know, sometimes you'll have to deal with it on campus, but the important thing to take away is that you're going to have to deal with it in certain cities. So, and it really has to do with the kind of gear that you're putting down and the kind of impact that you're causing in this specific space that you're in. So the second you start put down light stands, mic stands, tripods, anything like that with sticks that you're landing and you're not just kind of moving around, that's where it's like, do you have a permit to be here? And it really depends on where. That there's some places that are very, very strict, that it become, you know, that they're protective of the quality of life of that district or that part of town. There's a zip code of Winter Park that you basically cannot get a film permit. If you're like, if you know your Winter Park zip codes, like Full Sail's in like the low key zip code, and then downtown Winter Park is in the like a little more like, you know, because people there are just done. They don't want film crews, they don't want shoots unless it's in specific places at specific times. So just be aware of that kind of stuff. But what you did best, it's kind of like that thing of like, if you get pulled over, like, you know, to be as nice as you possibly can to at least begin that conversation on the right foot, and hopefully you can at least finish what you're doing without getting kicked out or roughed out of there. But Yeah, it's Ray saying LA Film School, same way. Yeah, it just, LA is very similar. I used to work in lighting and grip in LA, and it was the same thing. Like some neighborhoods, you're fine. It's really relaxed. In some areas, they've seen it, they've been there, they do not want you there. Even if you're paying somebody money, the permitting can be really expensive, or just like, no, there's just no permits, so again, if it's just you and a couple friends doing a film shoot with a bounce board and you can get in and out pretty quick and everything's on its feet, usually you're okay. As soon as you put stands down, do you have permission to be here? Swanee, you got some thoughts on that? Or
Yeah, no, man, you touched on mostly everything. It's, yeah, once you start putting a tripod down in stands, that's when some people will start to come over to you and say, hey, you got a permit. At Full Sail, again, I haven't really shot anything with students on the back lot since the whole COVID incident, but we used to have a low impact photography form that was available in the entertainment business building, like the fishbowl that some people call it. And you could usually get that up at the receptionist, and basically you just fill it out and have it in the back. But that basically means you're just taking photos out there. You're not putting down a tripod and like doing that kind of thing. So, that's available for you. They were just probably looking for something to do. And also it's kind of good that they asked you, because, it kind of keeps you safe too, because maybe it could have been somebody from somebody else using the back lot on campus, that shouldn't be there. So it's good that they kind of go and ask people, so you're safe when you're back there, because that's something I always appreciate about our security, is making sure that you as a student know that you can go around campus and feel safe. So permits are a whole nother beast, and they're kind of crazy, but if you ever need anything, just ask anybody for help.
yeah, Sam put in the chat he's used that low impact. It's basically a little extra checking in of saying like, hey, we're gonna be out here with our cameras and we're not putting stuff down. So the idea with the low impact one is you don't have to reserve that area, because if I were to take a class out there and we're gonna do a shoot with generators and lights and gear, you have to book it. Like you are locking it off. Low impact means, hey, I'm gonna mosey over there. They kind of know where you're at, and they usually will take one of the people's IDs, just so they have like a way to track it. So that's how it's supposed to work. Again, it may be a little bit different right now with the check-in, but it's probably a similar procedure.
Okay, yeah, that's super helpful, because for our next shoot, we are trying to do a kind of like skyline on the rooftop of a parking garage. And I
Yeah.
know downtown is like very, like if you live in an apartment complex, you have access to that, but none of us do. And so if anyone could send in the chat, just if they know a place downtown, or at least a good view that we could use for Sunday, that'd be super helpful.
Yeah, there's a couple of parking lots that are easier to get to. Oh, Sam says the airport floor 11. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to get you the view of downtown that you want, but yeah, parking lots a lot of times are the easiest if you don't need the residential part of it and you just want the buildings in the background. But again, it's like how much of an impact. Just think about, like, if you're the security person, what are you going to think? Like, how many people are up there? If we've seen I'm blanking out. eBay, our student eBay does a lot of shoots downtown with bands and stuff, and she gets really great looking. Garages just have cool geometry, so you can set up a lot of cool leading lines and stuff, and then usually you can get those skyline views on another part of the garage. So tends to be okay. Maybe talk to the guards, or maybe not. Maybe just pay for parking, go up there, shoot your shots, and go home. So it just depends on what you're doing and how elaborate it is.
Yeah, and you might, I was just going to say, to reach out to eBay maybe via the Facebook page, because I know they will respond and provide some good info.
Yeah, the Orange County Library parking lot, like you can go all the way up to the top, and it's not like the highest building, but it's like a good medium size, where there's ones that are taller. But I did get in trouble for bringing a camera, but if you have your phone, it's fine. Like you could just go up there and have a little Sonic Icy and chill. Like they don't really care. But again, if you have like a lot of gear, they're gonna come for you. So.
There's a parking lot by the that really nice hotel in downtown Orlando. It's a public parking lot. that you can get up to the top of that one too, that has a really nice view. I'll put a link here to some of the parking lots, and that's a big link, but here you go. That's on Google, and those are just a parking lot. I was trying to see if I could see it through the street view, but I can't find it. But it's by that really nice hotel. There's one up there. So if you're just quick about it, you know, might be able to get away with something.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know how it goes.
That's awesome. I did see a note in the chat that Courtney is ready to go. We'd love to hear from you, Courtney. What's up?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, I'm having so much fun now with
I
my
love to hear
assignment. You remember last week I had like this meltdown where I'm like, I was struggling internally. Thank you all so much for the positive feedback. It just created this spark within me. So thank you. Just to refresh everyone, I want to be a multimedia specialist. And one of the things was being a really great storyteller. And so last week I was talking about, you know, selling myself short by saying, hey, I just want to focus on that skill. And so one of the things that I've been doing is watching a lot of videos on storytelling. And one of the videos that I watched was through a TED Talk, and it was by Matt Chan, and it talked about what great storytellers know. And one of the things that he answered for me was like, what if you don't know your audience? And so he talks about tap into shared experiences. So I've been watching Bridgerton. I don't know if any of you have been watching it. Like, that is my show. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. Because like so many of the characters I can relate to. And I'm like, I see what he's talking about.
Nice.
You know, yeah, I'm seeing it. So that's what I say, I'm having fun because I get to watch the show and I get to learn those storytelling techniques that I'm learning about through watching the video. And so Renee, when I had put that question about the light, thank you, Swanee, again for providing that link. Like the lighting on this show is
it's gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I was so happy that you did touch on that. So yes, I'm having fun. I feel like I'm in my zone. I'm just loving it. And Shonda Rhimes, she's just amazing. I first fell in love with her watching How to Get Away with Murder. Did any of you all see that? And I just loved how each week the story would build, and it just, you know, it just captured my attention. And then to see the contrast now with Bridgerton, which lets me know, hey, to get out of your comfort zone, something that you all told me last week, like Joya, one of the things you said, now is the time to take risk. And so I just looked at Shonda and I'm like, wow, to go from like that genre to go into this Bridgerton. If none of you've seen it, I highly recommend. It's on Netflix that you watch it. So yeah, I'm just having a good time.
Cool. A couple of notes on that. So one of the things that realization that you're having where you're like, I see it, like you have to realize that it's not just kind of there, it's imperative. Like there's literally no hit shows that are not doing, you know, strong storytelling. So like all those fundamentals are in place. Same thing with the lighting. A lot of the stuff, like the sets are huge, and you know, the set pieces, that the lighting concepts that are being applied are pretty simple, but they're being done like at an exceptional level, and it allows for all the other elements of that production to shine through. The other thing is about Shonda, like it says Shondaland, but then she's executive producing it, which is like of a high level, but there's so many people involved. Like it's created by, quote, somebody else, based on a book by somebody else, directed by, so she's not like as necessarily hands-on on the nitty-gritty of what's happening there, but you can see where somebody who's built that legacy of her career, then to be able to put that project together. So those of you that are more in the like project management. Man, I see Rachel over there. Rachel's like, yep, that's her jam. So she's trying to put together some shows. So it comes down to like, can you recruit that whole team? Can you coordinate all that? Can you steer that thing in a direction? And I'm like, I was just real curious because I would see her name on it. And then I was like, wait, she didn't direct it. She's not, it doesn't say created by her. So I was like curious what was going on. And it's like executive produced. I was like, okay, so it's her baby, but it's a different kind of her baby, right? Like it's not like the one that she's in there like directing actors and doing the nitty gritty. So just keep that in mind and like get curious about like, okay, so who are these other people? So who's directing these episodes, or why does it say created by this other person? And what's their role? How where did they work with Shonda before? Like figure out how it's all interconnected, because that's going to allow you to see where are the doors of opportunity for you to kind of plug into something like that, to that kind of project. Those projects can inspire people to join an industry, like costume designers and makeup artists and people like that, to see something like that and go like, oh, I got to work on one of those projects, right? So it's really well done show.
Thank you. And thank you, Sam. Sam is just awesome. He's just so awesome. I like that. I was reading the comment. He said, not a meltdown, breakthrough. You are exactly right, Sam. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder.
No problem. No problem. We've all been there.
That's awesome. Brittany, how you feeling?
Guys, I feel 1,000 times better.
Oh, good.
The past 2 days have just been like, oh my God, I'm just so thankful. I feel so much better. And I'm starting to taste things, like I can taste it's coffee. It's just great. I'm so thankful. And what you said about Bridgerton, Courtney, I like binge watched that. And I don't know if you guys saw like TikTok videos or Instagram videos, but it's like the first day of Bridgerton, and it's like a girl with like some tea, and then it says like after the however many episodes, and it cuts to like a scene where she's in like a full gown, she has a wig on, and she's like talking in an accent. That was me. I just thought that was funny. It made me laugh. So I have some videos. My goal this month, I had shot some videos for a fitness company for my friend. It's called Fittin'. And it's at the local CrossFit right across from Full Sail by the Kiko's Japanese place. There's a CrossFit at the end that I go to, and they have like a nutrition and fitness coaching. And I like fell in love with their mission, and I was like, hey, let me shoot some videos for you. Like, you don't have to pay me, whatever. Like, I just want to practice my camera. And I really believe in this story. And I think you could get a lot more people to join if they heard about it. So I would like to show you guys the 3 videos I made so far of the footage that I shot before Christmas, but I don't know. The audio works, right? Like the...
If you're going to share your screen, there's a little toggle on that share screen interface at the bottom that says share computer audio. And you need to make sure that that is checked.
Okay. And let me just pull them up 1 second. So the videos I'm going to show you are just 3 different versions of ads that he wanted for Instagram. So they are vertical. I made them in Rush. Let me see. I don't know how to share my desktop. I guess just this one.
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen? Okay, cool. Hopefully the audio works. So
I am fitting.
So that was version 1 of it, and they gave me the logo. They gave me all of the wording to put into it. I pretty much just edited all the sound effects, the audio, and the cuts. So this was the second version.
I am fitting.
And this is the third ad.
I am fitting.
So let me get back to you guys. I don't know how to stop sharing. Okay, here we go. So those were the 3 little ads that I did. And then I'm currently, I have a longer video that's I'm doing in Premiere Pro. And I am really just, I'm on the same page as Courtney. Like, I'm just really having fun with the process, like learning how I edit, what I lay down first, when I do sound effects, when I start looking for music. I'm just really having fun and just kind of letting the process of like editing happen. And it's turning out really good. Tomorrow I have a Zoom meeting with a guy because he has some things that he wants me to add. So yeah, I'm excited. And then as far as helping with my group, they just finished the filming, so they should be contacting me sometime this week to edit the video for them. But I'm feeling better and I'm enjoying the process.
Wonderful. You seem very spry, like you've got some of your energy back. So it's great to see you not struggling to feel good. Love seeing your work, you guys. I love you sharing your screens and showing us what you've been working on. And also so much appreciate your ability to talk through some of the things that you are doing, right? So instead of just showing us the video, you set it up for us to say, this is for this kind of company. This was my intent in doing it. And also that like it was for this particular medium, which is why you're going to see it in the, in the composition or in the vertical arrangement that it is. And when you are able to share all of that with us, we have a better way of understanding both what it is we're looking at and responding to that, right? For instance, if you would have not set it up to say, this is vertical on purpose, someone might be like, Brittany, you really need to get this in the right aspect, like ratio, right? And you're like, that's not it. But you set it up in such a way that it really allows for better understanding. You have given us the context that we need to understand the content that you're showing us. And I think that that's a really important skill that you guys are also developing. All right, let's see here. Michaela.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. So this month my career goal is to be a video producer at BuzzFeed.
Okay.
And so this month I chose to do like a report, but I'm going to make it into like a informative video type of style.
Nice.
And everything going pretty good so far. I'm doing a lot of research, but I was thinking about connecting maybe with someone who works at BuzzFeed or something like that. And I know Roxanne had talked about Ivan Emilio because he graduated from Full Sail and is a video producer at BuzzFeed currently. And so I kind of wanted to ask, what's the most professional way to go about contacting people from a company and the best way to go about it?
Who wants to? Catherine is raising her hand. I'd love to hear what Catherine.
Answers for once.
All right.
He was actually on a panel, and he said the best way to contact him is literally through DM. He said, I know it sounds weird, but it's DM. He said he likes when people first introduce themselves with a simple hello and their actual name and not their handle. To talk about a not recent video of his that you like and a specific question. So he doesn't want like a generalized question. He wants a specific question. And then he said, keep in mind, it will take him a little bit to answer it, but he does look at his DMs and stuff like that. So,
okay, thank you.
That's awesome. And I would just follow up, like there's a difference between reaching out to somebody at any company and reaching out to a grad that is already like, this is a guy that gives back. He understands that you guys are going to reach out to him. But I love that he got that specific about it because his workload is pretty intense. not only that, he's always on the move. If you follow him, he's got a very kind of fluid lifestyle, and he's hustling and working, and they turn around videos extremely fast. So that's a really good way to kind of set expectations on, you know, something that he understands is going to come his way. People are going to reach out to him for advice, but being specific is great. So, and also I want to kind of come back around to, was it Andrew that was working on videos in a specific style for a company that he would like to approach. And to say that, I remember vividly when Yvonne was in our department making videos that looked like BuzzFeed videos, and he spent a large part of his degree making BuzzFeed style videos because that was the tone that he wanted to set, and very like kid friendly. Like his personality came through in all the student work he did. It's very much like apples to apples, like what he spent his time on and the way that he set the tone for what, you know, his student work was, is pretty much exactly the career that he's has continued to build for himself. If you notice, like he's got a superb like G-rated presence, that because his goal was to be like Jimmy Kimmel, like just for everybody, and he handles that very, very well, and he gets an incredible amount of opportunities. So there's a lot to learn from how Yvonne does things.
Yeah.
He works his butt off. So, you know.
And thank you, Catherine, for the specificity, right? Like you're like, I actually know exactly how you should contact him. But for those of you who are listening and maybe thought like, well, I have that question too, and maybe not for someone that we can speak to so directly here. I think a great way to reach out to someone, there are many great ways to reach out to someone in a professional basis. And sometimes it can look like following their preferred or requested method. But I'm also a big fan of having an introduction from somebody who knows you both. So in this case, you know, maybe it is Roxanne, because she's the one who said, maybe you should talk to Yvonne. And so maybe you just say, Roxanne, would you mind, you know, doing a virtual introduction between us? And that way she, you know, is a little bit of a conduit to help you guys get connected.
If I can jump in really quickly, just to throw in a little extra piece. Consider what your questions are. Like before you reach out, make sure that you're like super prepared, and you like really think about, okay, what is it that I'm looking for? And you really want to define what that looks like for you. A lot of times I have seen, and I experienced this myself, where I wanted to talk to people who were doing the thing that I was interested in or worked in the industry I was curious about. But then when I was in front of them, I didn't really know how to articulate where I was in the process. I remember having a meeting with Emily once when I was a student. And even then, like struggling to articulate, what is it that I want to do? What am I passionate about? What have I done? And also just what kind of support are you looking for? And so if you haven't really outlined what that looks like for you, I would definitely say do that before you reach out, because you'll see better results. You'll be able to ask more direct questions instead of getting kind of vague and, hey, I want to connect, or hey, I'm looking to get to know you. You can say, hey, I'm a student and I'm building my portfolio, and I would love to hear from you. Like, what kind of project should I be working on? Or what are the skills that I need to have in order to do this job? Or, you know, what should I do about my LinkedIn or my resume? Does this matter? What about portfolio ideas? Like, you know, really just try to nail that stuff down.
Yeah, and that to me, that kind of springs to mind, like with any expert in the field that does public appearances. And in this case, like Yvonne has done quite a few panels on campus that are probably archived. So maybe also just kind of like do your homework and see, has he already talked about this stuff? Because a lot of the more general career advice things, like somebody may not have the time. Like we literally are are here to do that for you. Like, this is our job to talk to you through this stuff. But Yvonne's got a job to make these videos, right? So his time to do that might be limited, but he has done that in certain forums already. So there may be a way to get some of those resources, get some links to that, so you can basically see if he's already answered a lot of what your initial questions might be.
Okay.
I'd like to throw in something too about just going to BuzzFeed's website and searching around in there. Sometimes you can find a lot of really good information. Here's a link to their press relations. And if you just go to their press relations page, you'll then find a bunch of people who are responsible for doing all the publicity for BuzzFeed. And they have their Twitter links and all these other social media ways that you can contact them. And then just put them in your circle of people you follow on social media and kind of comment every once in a while with things, you know, here and there. So you kind of build this organic friendship where you're not trying to like contact and use somebody for something, but you're building something that's kind of natural, or where somebody naturally just sees your type of work. That's a good way to do it. I've shot some stuff for BuzzFeed, not because I knew anybody at BuzzFeed, but because I actually taught a student that went to film like 10 years ago at Full Sail. And when she graduated, she became a director and started to do things. And she's like, oh, hey, we got something in Florida. I need you to be a camera operator for it. So I've done some things for BuzzFeed just because I knew somebody that worked for BuzzFeed, and it was organic. So maybe you can kind of reach out to some of those people and kind of create something that will help you out that way too.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I see that we have Kevin de la Cerna, who has joined us in the room. You guys, hey Kevin, how are you?
Hi everyone, good, how are you?
I'm doing great. We're so happy to have you. We're just kind of doing a little bit of a check-in first thing this week. You know, these students are sharing kind of where they are and working on some pretty amazing projects. They've shared some of their work in progress with us today. So you're joining a good group here. Kevin's here to talk a little bit about, you know, some info, you know, that all of you guys are going to find really helpful as you are thinking about how do I translate this work, these projects, what I'm doing in MCBS to life and career beyond. So Kevin, thanks for being here.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, everyone. So my name is Kevin de la Cerna. I teach Portfolio 7 right now. And that class is really focused on career stuff as it relates to what you're doing, how you can connect it to your career, whatever that may be. So some of you want to be freelancers. Some of you want to go work for somebody. Some of you have even expressed interest in getting into creating more content in an entrepreneurial type of way. So, you know, what I actually do outside of Full Sail is I've worked in career development for a number of years and continue to stay in this space. So I've developed a good network of headhunters that I work with regularly. And they basically always look for people to fill positions. So in that network, I help them source and recruit candidates. So I'll find people that can fill their particular role, and I'll send them resumes. I'll get them a pool of candidates. And if they hire people through it, then they'll refer me, or they give me like a referral fee. So I consult with a lot of headhunters in the area. And but it's a lot of it is, you know, when you're working with headhunters, it's a lot of like mid to higher level management, IT type of positions, stuff that's really hard to find, where like people go down a career path for 5 to 10 years, they develop a certain skill set, and then that plugs into an organization. So for many of us in this space, you won't be working with too many headhunters, because most of the entry level type of positions, they can go directly to a university. They can go to, there's a bigger pool of candidates, right? For us, every month, graduates come out. So there's a large pool for people to select from. But every once in a while, I'll come across some good opportunities that are media communications based. And that's actually what I wanted to share with you all today, is an associate director, well, not director, associate digital marketing position. And so it's kind of a junior position that I am going to share with you all. And I'll drop a link in here in a second, but I'm going to do a share screen. I wanted to ask everybody, does everyone know what they want to do? Like a good idea, or maybe even exactly what you want to do upon graduating? for the most part. Yeah. Hey Ray, you want to share what you're looking to do?
Yeah, for sure. So I want to eventually work in the gaming media industry, whether that is producing videos for like a place like IGN, GameSpot, or possibly like running my own sort of outfit for myself, whether that is on YouTube or like getting sponsorships and whatnot. But yeah, I want to work in like gaming media and like host like a show or produce a show, and as well like write articles about like games and whatnot.
Cool. And obviously that's very specific, right, Ray? And on the other end of that, is there anybody who just has an idea but don't really know how that connects or plugs into an industry? And if so, can we get someone to share on that?
I can share on that.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Brittany.
Originally I was thinking graphic design, but as I work with like smaller companies or just startup companies, I realized that it's more of like consultation, like kind of organizing their thoughts. How do you proceed? How do you communicate through social media? Who is your audience? It's kind of teaching everything that I've learned to people, but it's not one specific thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I just did their logo and then that was it.
Right. I would assume that there's a good portion of students here and people that are about to graduate that are very similar to you, Brittany. And it's like every month you learn a new skill, you get introduced to something and you think, well, that's actually what I want to do. Well, that's actually what I want to do. The good thing about portfolio is you get to explore each of these areas and develop something a little bit more towards anything that you want to do to promote or publish your content in a way that can help you get hired, right? So what I'm going to talk to you about is an opportunity in marketing, which is it's digital marketing, right? So I know many of you probably don't look up that term as frequently because you may be looking at that very specific designer, editor role. We call those specialists. I'm going to share my screen here for a second and see if I can find the right one. Oh, hold on a second. Share. Okay, I think that's it. Is that it? Can you see this position here? It says Associate Digital Marketing and Event Specialist. So this is a position with someone I'm working with, and you can see it's a part-time role. And you may be thinking, I don't really want to do digital marketing, or may not even understand that full grasp of what it is. But oftentimes job titles don't really describe exactly what somebody does. So in the case of what Brittany was explaining, where she likes to do photography, design, a little bit of everything, you go into the job description and you can kind of see here, you must be comfortable planning events, concurrently managing corporate social media presence across multiple channels. And then you go into duties and responsibilities. This is the area that you really want to pay attention to. And here they're going to say you create marketing content, including collateral, social media campaigns, advertisements, product videos, internal sales tools. And that's where you should really take a look and say, that's what each of you are doing from month to month in a variety of different ways. And so this particular organization is more of a healthcare educational software IT company where they develop training and modules for their clients in these spaces. And they have an internal marketing team where they want somebody to pretty much do a little bit of everything of what you all learn within media communications. And something I think it's really important for you all to take a look at here is as we look at experience and skills, you'll notice that Adobe on this particular job description is not listed. And anybody have an idea of why it's not listed on here? And feel free to share whenever. Just throw anything out there. All right. Well, I'll tell you why. A lot of times, this is what we would call more of a generalist role. They want somebody to create content across a multitude of platforms. The understanding of the strategy in the business and how to get your content out in front of somebody for this type of position is more of the purpose. Does it help to be great at InDesign, Illustrator, Premiere? Yes, those are going to be tools to help you. But what this type of role tells you is that however you create it, as long as the content is quality and it can be pushed out across our platforms, it's okay. It's okay as long as it meets a level of standard for this particular brand. So I know many of you kind of go, I'm just not a great designer. That is okay. Understand the principles of it and learn some of the key elements. And then just make sure you're looking at jobs that don't say you have to be in this space, like you have to use this particular tool. There's a lot of positions that are out there in this sort of space that are like digital marketing or communications, community engagement type of roles, and even social media. A lot of social media roles won't always require you to be proficient or like an expert with the Adobe Creative Cloud. Again, it does help because that's kind of, if you look to transition. So this is a type of position that you can take a look at and really say, this is the type of place I could learn and grow with. In this particular position, it's 20 hours. It's also a remote position, meaning you can work from home. They're home based out of Maryland. And when you see that, they're going to throw in something like this, where it says high level of motivation, self-starter, attention to detail, organization skills. And this is important for anybody looking to get hired in a remote space, because it's a high level of trust, right? Like if I can't see you every single day, I just need to know that you're committing your 4, your 6, your 8 hours to the job. And I also need to know that, if I message you, I send you an email, you're going to respond within the timely fashion. So that's what they mean by like a self-starter, self-motivated, that you're really engaged with the process. And sometimes we look at that and we're like, of course I am, on these things, but you have to make sure you understand what they're really looking at when it comes to that. And identifying too, like you can kind of see here, Zoom is something that they're saying they want experience with. You may not realize that, but everybody across the world is using this tool, and they want to know that you can use Zoom, that you can use Teams, any of these, communications platforms to communicate regularly. So you guys are gaining experience just by sitting in class and communicating. And it doesn't seem like it. And we overlook some of the little things that we do on a day-to-day, but employers are looking for it. So this is a type of position that you can also explore and put into your job searches as an educational tool. And in this case, this is something that we are looking to hire for. So I'm going to drop this link in here. If anybody is interested in, how do I get this thing back now? If anybody's interested in applying, I'm going to put my email address in here as well. And if you have any questions, email me. Let me know what you come up with. Happy to talk to you more about it. And then if there's questions right now, in front of everyone, like let's talk it through, and we can see if anything comes up as we can address them across the board.
Hey, Kevin, I have a question. This is Courtney.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi. Thank you for this information. This was definitely helpful as far as looking at the duties and responsibilities. One question that I do have, the company that I want to work for, Tyler Perry Studios, when I go to the site, they have under their careers, they have like where you can submit your production resume, and then but they don't post current job openings per se.
I've heard. I know that in career development, I worked in our career development for a number of years too. I know that's kind of how they do it. It's kind of open-ended. They really look for just your understanding of productions, like being on productions, being on sets, right? And so when they say post your production resume, a production resume is, and for many of you will be like that PA type of resume, which is okay, which is completely fine. Like nobody goes into the world of production thinking they're a lifelong production assistant. Everybody goes into it as a writer, an editor, a director, And it's just getting on set, learning etiquette, learning how to communicate, getting your name in front of people, showing your work ethic. So when they do that, what they want to see from you on a resume is a production style resume, which is more about how many times have you been on set and have you like worked in this environment. And that means anything. I mean, you can be running and getting coffee. It doesn't matter. Like, they just need to know that you can help the production move faster, and you can understand language, right? Like, so when someone says, hey, wrap those cables, you're like, okay, cool. I know what you're talking about. Hey, do this. It's just that you can plug in anywhere. So that's what they're looking for. And Swanee, you could probably speak more to that too, since you're on sets all the time. That's where, you know, you want to add into like a production style resume, add an entry level role.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Hey, Courtney, I'll be happy to sidebar with you on that too. Cause it's another one of those things where you just got to get real specific about what do you envision when you talk about working for that company? There's just so many ways to answer that. So I'll be happy to sidebar with you to get a little closer to what you're trying to do.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
I just wanted to add,
yeah,
sorry, just like throw it in there. This isn't much more of a question, but I guess more of like a talking point. But I found it interesting because I don't often see job listings that are like, you either have the degree or are working towards a degree. So I found that kind of cool that like we could apply for that even though we're not we're not done with our degree yet. So that was really interesting to see. And if that's something that we can, like, that we would see outside of just like this position, like that's kind of more hopeful in my just in my personal life. That's like, okay, I can get like because I work full time right now, but I could definitely see myself doing like another part-time thing like that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we're seeing that a little bit more and understanding like the work environment at this stage and like where we're at in terms of, you know, a pandemic kind of situation. The ability to work remotely and handle a couple of things at once has, I would say, influenced that. But there are always going to be organizations that, you know, if you read the details of what they're looking for, make sure you just pay attention to that. Like, they'll tell you that. And then, you know, it's a good opportunity. Now, when they say this, of course, it's working towards a degree. So they are probably looking at ideally junior, senior level people, right? So at least you're halfway through a program, which is ideal. That always is a matter of like, they don't want somebody to jump ship to leave school and then you're competing on like, what's the priority? Is school your priority or is this job your priority? And they can see that in your work ethic. So that's something you just pay attention to.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question for the resume. So when these type of positions come up where it's not strongly like, okay, we just need to see your visuals or we need to see your resume in text format, how do we, I guess, combine like the visual aspects of our works with the text-based resume? Like how do employers like this want to see our work?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So well, it's anything which I know you've done a lot of this, Brittany, which is any of your like industry projects, and then you package it in a way that shows what you've done through the form of a multiple media campaign, right? So if you've worked with a client and you've done their design, their social media, you've helped come up with a plan to push that out, like the campaign as a whole, then present your work or your project as a campaign to say that you understand all the touch points along the way. And you may not know all of it or have like done every single part of it, but the more you can plug into, the more they see the versatility in what you do. Because they're looking in this type of role. Now, this is, I'll be honest, this is more like a corporate kind of environment, right? Like, so they're looking at what's our message? What is our message? How are we connecting this message to the audience? Because at the end, it's results driven, like where, you know, after we've created this and we push this content out, where are we seeing the results in that? Do we need to reinvest in this area? Should we push more social media? Is YouTube really pushing our content? So you're going to have to kind of pay attention to what you want to do is look at that from a perspective of seeing their platform. Where do they push their stuff out, and then aligning with how they're promoting and interacting with their customers and prospective customers. So if in simple form, Brittany, it's the campaign. It's not just like the design. Like you wouldn't put something like I'm a designer. It's more of, digital marketing campaign with this company where you did 4 different things with them. And then looked at how you push that content out and how you delivered it. So they are looking kind of at that strategic part of your brain in terms of you didn't just create this beautiful image, you also knew what to do with it, where it went, how to engage with anybody who engaged with it. So think about that as it's a little bit broader and like connecting to that audience. And I think you've done all the, it's pretty fair to say you've done all that, Brittany. It's just pulling that out. And if you want to talk more about that, I'm certainly happy to message me and we can talk more about it.
Okay, thank you. I will.
Any other questions? All right. Well, as much as I can, I'd like to come in and just talk about some of these shorter things, or like how it can connect to what you're trying to do. Obviously my info is there. And for those of you who are interested, don't hesitate. If you think, I don't know if I can do this, ask me the question. It doesn't hurt, right? Like, let's see if this is something you can do. I can help you look through your work and say, yeah, this all connects to it. And then we'll get talking and we'll figure out the best way to move forward.
Thanks, Gavin.
Yeah,
I think it's really helpful just to kick the tires on a specific opening that you're spotlighting, even if this one doesn't ping on your particular radar as a student.
Right. It's
really good to go through and go, how are these companies talking about, the people they're looking for, and can I take a swing at this? And it may not hurt you to try and just go and do an interview on something like that, or just to see, like, did I even like when Brittany talks about the text-based part of it, is your written resume triggering enough keywords and whatever the algorithms they're using to filter? Are you getting some responses? And is your body of work strong enough? Because a lot of you guys as students are already professionals in the field. I've got 5 or 6 people in my head already that are, while they were students, were already gigging and had clients that they were maintaining as professionals. So just because you are working on the degree does not mean that you are not qualified to go for a job, especially in an industry that's media. Like in music and film, like literally nobody cares what the degree is. If you show up, can you do it? In our media field, it's a little broader. Sometimes it's going to be a little more corporate. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more like startup and, hey, I saw your work, let's do the stuff, right? So it's really interesting to look at on that more corporate side. What does it look like, and how do I fit, what I've been doing, gigging or collaborating into these opportunities? So thanks for bringing something like that up, Kevin. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for having me. I'm going to jump out, but again, my info is there. Don't hesitate. Please don't be shy. I'm happy to talk to you about it. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Kevin is just a wealth of knowledge related to how to connect what we do in this program out into the working world. So take him up on his offer to connect for sure. He is, like he said, in Portfolio 7. So you guys will definitely have a chance to work with him in a one-on-one capacity moving forward. But it is our hope and goal to bring him into these sessions so that he can add value along the way, not just at the end. So you'll be seeing more of Kevin, and he'll have just little things, like really just practical how-to kind of stuff that he is going to bring in for us. So I know that we didn't quite get through our individual check-ins. And so I want to kind of circle back to that's where we are. Michaela was the last person that we heard from, but it seems like we have still left to go. Rachel, what's going on?
It's been a busy week. So first off, let me start before I forget. Michaela, I don't know if it's still open, but last week there was a bunch of BuzzFeed internships open. So go check their website to see if that might be something still available, because those looked really good.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear exactly what you said.
Last week I was looking at internships and BuzzFeed had quite a number on their website. I don't know if they're still open or not, but I would go check out in case they still are.
All right,
they were all remote based. So
thank you.
I just remembered that when you said BuzzFeed, I was like, oh, I should mention that. Unfortunately, I missed last week's vision board port class because I was not feeling well that day at all. So I just ended up staying in bed sick for the day. But if it's okay, I'd like to share what I ended up doing, kind of delayed on that.
Of course.
Okay, so I was originally going to show this. This is the vision board for the TV show, right, that I've got. So I went all out with that one a while ago. So I've got like everything from Dreamcast, how we want production to be, and people we want involved in the project. Like we went all out on, well, I went all out on this one. And then, but for the class, I kind of did a little digital one, more so all encompassing aspects of my life and career.
Yeah.
So like different companies I hope to work for in the future, from like Skydance to Instagram to Disney to stuff for the show to just like general kind of career stuff as well. It's a few little like fun things for just life in general. So I made this one just since I didn't have any magazines at home, I just decided to go full digital with it.
Love it. Would you mind sending that to me? I would love to use it as an example of what's possible for creating digital vision boards. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can send that to you. Okay, where's the stuff share window? So I did that, and then with talk of Bridgerton as well, I got into the show. I didn't mean to, but I actually wound up on the TikTok side of the Bridgerton musical, and so I ended up writing a song for that and posting that. So that was a nice little fun creative challenge. And then I actually got into Shonda Rhimes' TED Talk, the I Said Yes to Everything for a year. And that was like such a good TED Talk. I'd highly recommend it. It talked about how she kind of lost her hum and like love for what she does. And it just like almost broke her. And by stopping and saying yes to her kids for like a year, like, and just like everything that popped up in her life, she kind of got that back and her renewed her love for it. Cause like she went on, she's like a titan. She does like 4 shows during one season of television. And it's just insane the work she does. So I highly recommend that thing as well. To like go watch that.
I'm sorry, Rachel. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. I pulled it up. Let me see what the name was again. It was the I believe it was My Year of Saying Yes to Everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, that one, it's 1.4 million views 4 years ago. That one was really good. So then I got IMDb Pro for a month, so I'm starting to compile a list of who I want to work with and their information to be like all ready, and it's in case we do win the competition at the end of the month, I'll be like, we're really ready for this. So I'm talking to my collaborator later this week to get us on the same page again, because we're a little disjointed right now. But finally, on Thursday last week, I got an email saying I got an interview for one of the little VA side gigs I applied for. And so I was really happy about that. But then I was just scrolling through my VA Instagram, setting that up for new media formats. And I saw a story saying, hey, we're looking for like this Canva, like somebody's really good with Canva to apply for this VA gig. It's part-time with hopes to go to full-time. So I was like, okay, I'll apply to it. Probably won't hear anything again, like normal. DM'd the girl, got the link to apply. And then I followed up by being like, okay, I just applied. Here's my portfolio website if you want to take a look at it. Not expecting to hear anything for a couple of weeks, if at all. Then I found out the next day she wanted an interview. So booked that. Then I got an email morning of the interview. It was canceled. I had to do a trial task to determine if they'd like to go forward with me, because I was like top 15 out of so many hundreds. So I did the trial task like as soon as I got it, emailed it to her, was like, hey, if you still want to go forward with the interview, I'm clear. I got it done before the original interview was scheduled. She said she was so impressed that we just kept our original interview time, and told me I'll probably hear back by Wednesday or so to know if I got the job. But last night, it's like 10 o'clock, she messaged me that I got it. So Yeah, finally got something. So it's a little less than I anticipated, but it's a lot of like growth. So it's part-time now because she's in Canada, so the exchange rate's not great. But it's she says as the hours go up and just as the work style and ethic goes up, it will too. But she was like really happy with my work ethic and my like experience, and it's gonna be more admin at first, but it's gonna grow into more of a creative role. So I'm really excited for it.
That's so cool.
So busy week,
congratulations. Yeah,
I'm really excited about that. I was getting really worried about like jobs in general because I had 26 internships I was about to go apply for. So I'm still gonna keep them on the back burner because it's a 3-month like trial period, of course. But yeah, just going over the contract today and onboarding tomorrow. So everything went really quick.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So I was just thinking like, hey, maybe I should like try and join an agency instead of fully freelancing myself. And then I got a job at an agency, so it worked out well.
They're lucky to have you. Congratulations.
Yeah, seriously.
Just get the most of it. Have fun.
And then I've been helping Malia. Thank you. So and then I've been helping Malia. We did my interview with Ray this week and then a couple others. So excited to finish those up this week.
I can feel the energy, and thank you for how much you bring to the table, both in terms of just like grit and also illuminating, like through your sharing, you illuminate that like, that it is a process, right? That like you have done all of these things and you were prepared to wait this long, and that you still knew that you had 30 something other internships kind of lined up because you've already applied for so many and haven't heard back, or, you know, haven't gotten the position. And there's just a lot of tenacity in your approach, and it's just very inspiring. So thank you for being part of this community, Rachel.
Thank you. And if anyone's looking for internships, Warner Brothers, HBO, NBC Universal, they're doing a ton right now for all aspects of the creative realm for the summer that have college credit and paid.
Awesome.
So,
and I want to highlight what you said a little bit earlier, that you got IMDb Pro, at least even for a little while. The difference, if you don't know, those of you, because there's quite a few of you guys here that are entertainment industry oriented. This is not typical. And a given month here, we may not have anybody that's looking at that field, but we have a lot on this call. If you have never checked out IMDb Pro, you owe it to yourself to do that, at least for a little while, just to see the amount of information that is there. That is stuff that I would have killed to know all these things when I was trying to freelance, 20 years ago, trying to really get a hustle on. There is so much access and information there. It's kind of like the LinkedIn for the entertainment industry, in terms of like, you can see the credits on regular IMDb, but that's just like watching the credits at the end of the movie. And it helps you connect the dots, but it doesn't help you get in touch with people, and doesn't get you into some of those like, okay, what offices, what agency, what's the phone number? Like, I mean, it's really, really superb, invaluable resource. So check that out if you haven't. It is not a very expensive subscription, and it's free for the first month. But if you're pursuing that field, it is just an unbelievable resource. So
yeah, I can just show really quick what I've gotten from it. So I'm making like this whole database with all of our information for the show. So like it's gonna go full screen. Yeah, I've fallen in love with Notion. Like, this is like my go-to software for everything now. So like I just like went in and found like people we want to work with. For like Sabrina Carpenter, for example, we kind of want her to executive produce it. This is apparently all of her representation, which I'm very still learning what all of it different means, because she has so much.
Yeah.
But, like literally the phone numbers, the offices, which people in specific at those offices all represent her. Like, this is like so much information to like be able to find. And like, so we went through, and so I have half of the Dreamcast and then a few of the production people behind.
Yeah.
So it was also good to see like I learned Mindy Kaling's working on a new college set show, which worried me a little. But like, it's really cool to see like what projects are in development on and what stages as well. And that was just, I'm doing it for the free month to get the information before paying the 20 a month, but it's just invaluable.
Excellent. Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like you look at, first of all, it's really hard to get representation. So it's good to see like, okay, what does that even mean? Who are these people? Like, how do you reach them? This is where, and the other thing is, it opens up the field. Whereas if you say, I want to work for Tyler Perry, well, go into IMDb Pro and look at all the family tree of people that it connects to take it to say, this is a Shonda Rhimes show or a Tyler Perry show. There's like thousands of people that are on that tree, but they don't all directly work there. But it's, maybe you can work for one of the agencies that represents the people that they hire, and they need you too, you know, so there's so much to uncover.
Yeah, especially because I learned about the packaging agents, and those people, they're making really good bank. They essentially just put together who wants to work on the project and who would be a good fit, but they only could do it with people within the same agency or management company. And so I was trying to say, like, okay, of our dream cast, how many of them are in each place we can see, and like which combinations could we have like right off the bat? It's a lot easier to get people from the same people than to have to like do all that intercommunication. So it was really interesting getting to learn all that stuff, and IMDb Pro was a game changer so far. So I'm trying to take advantage of it for that month. So I don't have to worry about the subscription cost necessarily, but I'll have that information to be prepared when we hopefully get in front of the right people to potentially represent us. And also it gives me a good peace of mind, like, okay, we're represented by this group, X, Y, and Z is also with them. So it's a higher chance of like the direct line of contact.
Yep. And that's like another playing field. Like all the people that work at agencies, these are people that maybe did film school and law school, and they don't go. So it just, when you talk about working in the film industry, you got to look at all these different niches and see like, what about me that I have a media communications, I'm a multi-tool, like you could fit all over the place, but you got to figure out where all the opportunities are.
Yeah, and thank you for pulling back the veil on that, right? That IMDb Pro, kind of what you can get. Looks super.
I've always been curious about it, but I've never paid for it. So I saw a 1 month free trial and I'm like, okay, let's do a lot of research.
Very cool. Thank you so
that's
much.
what I've been up to this month.
Always so much. Let's see, Taylor, we haven't heard from you yet. What's going on, Taylor?
Ooh, that's a rough one to follow up. All right. You know, this week's been busy, but I'm feeling good. For my career goal and stuff, I want to be in production. I want to be a producer for films and stuff. So for my main assignment this month, I've been doing a lot of research into disasters on sets, just because I feel I'm a big believer and we learn the most from the mistakes we make. And I've been finding that to be a pain in the ass just recently, because every single article I find is productions being shut down for COVID, and that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more like mistakes people make.
Well, hey Taylor, if you haven't, there was and Swanee, I can't remember the name of the film, but it was like an Allman Brothers film that was filmed, and they had a horrendous, tragic breakdown in production management and things like that. So like if you're looking for things like that, there was one, I think we were filming in Georgia a few years ago. I forget the name of it, but it was like an Allman Brothers
was it Midnight
biopic.
Rider?
I think so, yeah. I mean, and if you haven't seen that story, I mean, that may be the kind of story that you're looking at. Again, not to make light of it, because like it was horrible, but it had a huge impact on how production crew communicated about safety and boundaries and like, you know, reasonable precautions and things like that. So that is one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of the ones I've been looking at have been more like kind of lighthearted, just mistakes as far as like hiring the wrong people. But I'm absolutely gonna read up on that one just to get a different idea of it.
A really big impact, and look at the campaigns that followed from that, like because just awareness campaigns. It was a big deal.
Okay.
You'll find a lot of information and even pieces that like ABC, NBC had done on it, because it was kind of like a high profile movie. And, you know, not only was she killed, but there was also a couple other crew members that were hurt in the process. And just like Renee said, the breakdown of things that happened, because a lot of the times what you'll find is directors, you know, they have this creative vision and they're like, well, I want this shot, I want it now. But they don't think about, you know, the safety issues of putting somebody on a track or on a building, or, you know, hanging somebody off of a building with a camera or doing something like that. So you always have to have like a key grip or somebody else that's kind of keeping safety in mind. So if that's something that you're interested in, there's a big spot for that. And then I would also go to the unions, you know, for the camera unions, carpenter unions, all that kind of thing that's involved inside of the film sets, because they also have their own set of safety rules. And, you know, one of the things that movies that everybody tries to push for is 12 on, 12 off, because there's a lot of things with people, you know, working too much that, you know, you drive home and you only get like 3 hours to sleep, and now you got to go work another 12 hours, and then you only get 3 hours of sleep, and then you got to go work another 12 hours.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you're looking into, I would look at union safety issues, look at that movie Midnight Rider and all of the
Mhm.
impacts that came from that, and go around that kind of area to look for that type of safety stuff.
Okay. I'll add it to the list. But yeah, I've been doing a bit of research. As far as career development goes, I've been reaching out to some companies down here because I've worked for production companies in South Florida and Deerfield Beach on commercials and stuff. And they've been giving me contacts at places like the MLB and stuff. So I'm just reaching out and talking to them and trying to figure out where things go.
That's great, Taylor. Is there any way that, we can support kind of where you are with that?
I mean, I hate to be this way, but I mean, not that I can think of off the
Sure.
top of my head.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if you do, just let us know. The more kind of awareness you have of where you are and where you're going, we might be able to, better assist you with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. James Johnson, I see you join the call. How are you? James, are you there? We'll circle back around to James in a minute. I think I saw James chatting it up on the sidebar over here, so I know that James is with us. Malia, what's going on?
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see. So my project, that's coming along really good with the group and everything. So I am adding more articles and everything to the MCBS website, because when you go on there, there's just like there's like 5 articles or whatever, like readings you can go through, and just MCBS news within the community. But I wanted to keep it updated and everything. So I have been doing that with my group, which consists of Rachel, Taylor, Ray, and then I feel like I'm literally forgetting somebody.
Lily.
Lily, yes, Lily. Okay, Lily, yes, Lily. And everyone's doing their part, and it's really cool. And actually, I'm interviewing Emily and Jason later today, and I believe Rachel and Ray. I love saying that, the Rachel and Ray show. Rachel Ray will be joining. Sorry, I just can't get over it. I just think it's so funny. So they'll be joining on the call as well, I believe. We're going to be interviewing Emily and Jason, because they are the longest standing, I don't know how to say it, like longest standing MCBS instructors. So yeah. And then actually I will be on, what is it? I'm trying to remember all the days. Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. Yes, Wednesday, tomorrow. I'm going to be interviewing, Ray and I are going to be interviewing Joya and Sinkaya, because they are the most newest to the program. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and everything. And I got to be on campus last night, or not last night. Sorry, I'm so tired. Last week, and got to see Emily in person, and Rafe and Eleni and Ari, and it was just so fun. But yeah, it was really good to be back. So, but yeah, I'm working on like a lot of projects and everything. I'm also working on Matt's project. I went over to his house last night and helped him film, and Brittany's also in the group as well, and so we can get that footage to her so she can edit and stuff like that. So
yes, you got a lot of irons in the fire, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited though.
Me too. It was really great last week to see so many of you who came by, what we were offering on campus. Definitely did my heart a lot of good to see you guys in that space. And we're doing it again tomorrow. For those of you who want to join MCBS Homeroom, that's happening tomorrow on campus at 11. So if you have any interest in just coming, popping in, homeroom is just where we hang out. Like, we talk about whatever, we share our work, we tell stories, we listen to playlists. There's no set agenda other than the one that we kind of co-create together with whoever shows up. So all you guys are welcome for that too. Is there anybody else here that we didn't check in with? Because I feel like we got everybody. I really appreciate you guys being here and you know, just kind of giving us a little bit of info detail about what you've been working on, kind of what you're struggling with, or the things that we might be able to help. You know, that's the hope that as we proceed through this together, that you continue to tap into this community, this network, your mentors, each other, and see what we can do, right? Like that's kind of the experiment and the joy of every month as we come into it with some ideas and some plans, and we commit ourselves to the practice of showing up and doing the work and being in process with each other. And then, you know, like some outcome will be on the other side of this. And then that's what we'll get into more next week after we spend a little bit more time working. But, you know, we are thick in the process of it this month, I think is how it feels. We did have an awesome vision boarding session last week, and I want to talk about that a little bit more, but I think I'm going to save that for Thursday. You know, we've already been on the call for about an hour and a half, hour 45, and we had Kevin on. And so I don't want to kind of overwhelm us too much today. I want to give the vision boarding a little bit of room to breathe. So you can look forward to just kind of a discussion and a revisiting of that activity on Thursday. Faculty mentors, is there anything else that you guys want to share or say before we wrap today?
I just wanted to echo what has already been shared with you guys. I'm super excited to hear about your progress. I hope you guys are celebrating this progress because this is big. So also take a moment to pat yourselves on the back and be proud of the work you've done, and just keep having fun, keep taking risk.
I wanted to say that the DCBS program has a really cool January series that they're doing. And they're doing a Zoom session. I'll link some of the information below here with, they're doing an interview with Trey Haley. And he's done a lot of really cool things. And he has a show, The Family Business, that he's going to talk about. So I'll just kind of link some of that information below if anybody is interested in joining that.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to thank all of you guys for all the good questions and just sharing where you're at. It helps everybody else just to hear how you're processing stuff and how you're approaching, whether it's your own development or the view that you have of the field that you're entering, and what are some of these experiences and interactions that you're having as you work your way through. So just thanks and keep it up.
Yeah, for every one of you who asks a question or shares something in this space, you know, you really have no way of knowing how many students that's going to help, right? How many students that have that same question, and not just in the room, right? It could be those who couldn't make this session because they're working and they live maybe even in another country, right? And that are watching this archive, right? But are so grateful for the question that Michaela asked around, like, what would be the best way to contact so-and-so or network with so-and-so. So I just, that's part of how we build this community. It's part of how, you know, we come to rely on each other in this space. So I want to bid you adieu for today, unless there's any other questions. We, as Malia kind of chatted about, we're going to use this room right around noon to do a couple of interviews, which is going to require me to stop this archive and prep it for what we do there. But otherwise, I want to maybe see you tomorrow for a homeroom on campus if you're into that sort of thing. Otherwise, Thursday at 10 o'clock here, we're going to reconvene for some more project and portfolio goodness. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.